Hey, how's it going, guys? This is a just surprise video. Had nothing planned at all. If you saw my last video that I did eating that old Twinkie, you'll know that I'm moving. So I'm just finishing up some moving stuff, and before I pack in the computer and just shut everything down and unplug everything, I was going through some videos and things of that nature here on YouTube, and I just watched Goingdeff's video on why he owns a gun, and I thought it was a great subject to talk about. It's a question I think anyone with any kind of a gun-related channel here on YouTube probably gets and gets often. I personally get that question all the time. You know, why do I own a gun? I get it a lot from people who live outside the U.S. A lot of people don't understand, um, because where they are, guns aren't even an issue, whether, there's a lot of laws against them or whatever. They don't really understand the concept of walking around and just doing your daily chores with a gun on your side. Some people think it's crazy. Some people think you're paranoid if you have a gun. Um, there's a bunch of different things that go through people's head when you tell them that, yeah, I have a gun on me at all times. I just see it as being prepared. I'm not paranoid at all. I can promise you. I'm not a paranoid guy. I'm going to explain specifically why I carry a gun. I mean, the common answer or response is going to be self-defense. What does that really mean? Self-defense. There's a million different scenarios where you might need to defend yourself, and you don't need lethal force. You don't need a gun. And obviously, there's thousands of people all around the world who grow up and live to be old people, and they die naturally, and they've never in their entire life even seen a gun, let alone carry one, and they've never had any problems. A lot of people just don't believe in guns. They live full, happy lives without them, and never need them. And that's great. Those are lucky people. On the flip side, there's people who don't believe in guns, and maybe they die by a gun in the hands of a criminal. And maybe right before they get shot, they think, boy, I wish I had a gun. So, there's a million scenarios in between and all that stuff. I just want to give you just basically a straightforward answer from me as to why I carry. And I'm going to tell you a couple little stories as well. First off, if you don't know, I lived in New Jersey most of my life. Only moved to Pennsylvania the last 4 years. And thank God I didn't get into guns until I actually lived in PA, because Jersey's just a nightmare. I'm not even going to go into what's involved with that over there. And if you want to carry one around legally in New Jersey and you're not law enforcement or ex-law enforcement, just forget it. But anyway, Pennsylvania is very open to guns. They're very liberal in the gun scene. Just a quick little bit of information if you don't know, if you don't live in Pennsylvania. If you're over 18 years old and you're not a felon, you can legally carry a pistol openly anywhere on you, as long as you can visually see it. It's not covered in any way. You don't need a permit. You don't need a special license. You don't even need a driver's license. Well, I shouldn't say you don't need a driver's license. You have to prove you're over 18 years old, so some form of identity. Not a lot of people know that who live in Pennsylvania, and it's probably a good thing, because to be honest, I met a lot of punky 18-year-olds who would rather not walk around with a gun. But if I could be honest, but there's still plenty of responsible 18-year-olds out there. I'm not trying to say anything bad about teenagers, but anyway, yeah, not a lot of people, the general public, and I want to say even some law enforcement, they're not really up to par on what the law is, which is, I don't know, maybe it's a good thing. Like I said, not a lot of people who shouldn't have guns know about the fact they can have a gun. But anyway, as far as concealed carry here in Pennsylvania, you have to be over 21 to get your concealed carry permit, and that is something you do have to get a permit for. If you want your gun to be concealed in any way, covered up, hidden, you do need a permit. It's very easy to acquire and obtain. There's no safety requirements. There's no shooting tests to get your permit in Pennsylvania. You got to be over 21. You can't have any felony charges in your history. And you basically apply for it at your local sheriff's office. And you have to put down 2 references. And basically they send these letters out to these 2 references. And they just ask some basic questions. Do you feel this person's responsible to have a firearm? Blah, blah, blah. Most of the time when people ask for references, I always thought that was kind of stupid, because it's up to you to find references. Obviously, I gave the information to 2 work associates who I know. But the average person, you're not going to list a reference of someone who doesn't like you, or someone who honestly thinks you shouldn't have a gun, So what's the point of even going through that process? It's not like you're going to give your enemies information so they go, yeah, that guy's a jerk, you shouldn't give him a gun. You know, who's going to do that? But anyway, that's nor here or there. So you give two references, and then when they get back and the sheriff's office sees that these two people think that you're trustworthy, and they see that you're not a felon, they do a quick background check. You pay your $21 or whatever it was for a 5-year permit, and you're done. You get your permit. Now, when I first got my permit for concealed carry, and I chose to conceal carry for a lot of different reasons I'm not going to get into in this video, I was blown away to find out, and this is for my county, not my state, not the state of Pennsylvania, which is huge. Just my specific county had over 76 different applications for concealed weapons permits that month. Only that month. So I was completely shocked to realize that, you know what, this entire time that I've lived here, and who knows where else, I mean specifically Pennsylvania, I don't know about Jersey because it's harder to get legal permits, but anyway, that there's that many people walking around me every single day with guns. I basically found out that day because I was just talking to the clerk there while I was waiting for my picture to be taken for my card, and yeah, I was asking how many applications they have in a month, and I was like shocked. So all this time, you know, I'm going to the store, and you know, every single time I'm out in public, there's a good chance there's just dozens of people around me who are carrying firearms. So not only was I thinking, well, it's good to have protection, but now I'm thinking, well, geez, everyone else has guns. Why shouldn't I have one too? You know, we're only people. You could have a good law-abiding citizen who carries a gun every day of his life and all of a sudden loses his job, wife leaves him, you know, maybe a kid gets into a car accident or something and dies. Maybe he wants to flip out that day. You know, you don't know what's going to happen in these people's lives. So that was another reason for me to think, oh, thank God I'm doing this, because you know what? There's a lot of people packing all around me, so I might as well be one of them. I might as well have that option. If something were to go down, I can defend myself in that form. Now, I want to talk a little bit specifically about defense. Like I said earlier, a lot of people are going to use the response. Well, I like to, self-defense. I like to defend myself or my family. You don't usually get anything further than that. I want to go into detail. What do I mean by defense? Let's say someone, you know, you bump into someone, they push you, you know, and you push them back, and things escalate. The time to grab your gun? Not necessarily. In fact, most of the time, no, you don't want to grab your gun. Maybe you can just walk away. Maybe you have the bigger, the bigger head, and you realize, you know what, this guy's not worth my time. He's egotistical. This isn't going to go anywhere good. Just forget it. Just be the bigger man and walk away. You don't need your gun. You know, there's a lot of things. Before I owned a gun, I mean, I've unofficially practiced knife defense for years. Read books, you know, never actually took any classes on knife defense, but watched a lot of videos, you know, studied it. So I think I never had a situation where I needed to use a blade to defend myself, but I think if I had to, I had an upper hand on the average person. You know, I wasn't an expert in the subject, but I knew some techniques and stuff. So I think that I could defend myself with a weapon. But guess what? If I pull a knife on someone because I feel that my life's in danger and they grab a gun, I'm screwed. You know, there's no other way to put it. I mean, of course, yes, there's a lot of situational details. You know, if I'm right up on him and I have a blade, I can get him before he grabs his gun and so forth. But just as a generalization, you know, gun beats knife. If there's any kind of distance in between you, any distance at all, gun beats knife, as long as that person's proficient with it. Why take the chance? The reason I carry a gun is because I want to even the odds. 99 out of 100 times I'm going to get into a fight in my life, I'm not going to need a gun. But that one time that someone pulls a gun, at least I have a fighting chance. That's why I carry a gun. That's the only reason. Now let me tell you a couple stories as to what makes me want to carry a gun more. Now I already decided I'm going to carry a gun before these things happened, but locally in the last 3 years there's been some break-ins, some home theft, home invasions. Recently in the last month in my area, and I live in a very nice area. It's not really, I wouldn't say a rich area or ritzy or anything like that, but it's, you know, it's not urban, it's not country, it's somewhere in between. It's the suburbs, and there's not crime every day, you know. But there are home invasions. In fact, 2 weeks ago, someone broke into someone's house while they were home, beat the crap out of them, and took their crap and left. Okay, so it's not like these people are waiting for people to leave. They're breaking in. They don't care who's home. You know, these are ruthless criminals. Besides that, I live somewhat close to a major highway. And it's not even a lot of locals that I have to worry about. Even though there's people desperate, it doesn't matter what kind of a nice community you live in. It doesn't matter if you live in the pits. There's always going to be someone, okay, who's desperate. And there's always going to be a criminal around. You can't escape that. That's everywhere. Obviously, it's more common in some areas than others, but there's always going to be something. You're never 100% secure. But anyway, local gas station right off the highway there. It's a major highway. It's been in the last 2 years. It's been robbed 3 times. Once by some 15-year-old punk with a shotgun. Another time, some guy came in there with a kitchen knife. And the third time, I'm not sure exactly what the weapon was, but it was also robbed as well. And the biggest thing in the last 3 years, I think it was last year or maybe it was the year before, but there was a prison that was transporting some inmates. One was a convicted felon. He was in prison for life. He killed his parents, cold blood, as well as I think his girlfriend. I forget what his specific story was, but they were transporting him across state lines. And guess what? They pulled off the highway. They stopped at my local McDonald's so that the guards can just grab a bite to eat real quick. And that guy who killed his parents and his girlfriend, he escaped. And he was on foot in my backyard pretty much, in my area, in the woods here, running around for a good 8 hours before they caught him. Broke into one person's house. Thank God they weren't home. This person is going to jail for life. They have nothing to lose. They will kill anyone that gets in their way. They will do anything that they have to, okay, to survive. They're animals. Now, that person was in my area, on foot. Could have came to my house, you know. So that's just another reason. It's not the reason, because I already had my guns before that. But it's just another reason that reminds me and makes me feel good about the decision I made to carry a gun. So it's not paranoia, it's preparedness. And I think that I speak for all the gun people here on YouTube, at least all the good, professional, responsible gun people and gun channels, when I say that we carry a gun every single day, and we hope to God we never have to use it. But if that day comes, at least we have a fighting chance. So anyway, that's my video. Kind of a serious video. I mean, guns are fun. Guns are cool. Okay, everyone thinks that. Pretty much across the board, whether you're 13 years old or 50. But there's a huge responsibility of being a gun owner, and that's a whole separate topic for a whole nother video. But I really wanted to just thank Goindeff for making this video and just being provoking type information, and to really make people think as to why they carry a gun. And I also want to thank Derek Grebner for his video recently on, I forget what the title is, but basically he was saying how, if you carry a gun, you got to ask yourself, are you able to kill to defend yourself? And if you're not, you shouldn't have a gun. And I think that was an excellent video as well. I wanted to just give him a little shout out and some credit. Tex is a good guy. So anyway, that's it. That's my video. Wasn't planned or anything. Just want to tell you why I carry a handgun, or guns in general. And hopefully just give you something to think about. So that's it. I'm shutting the computer off, calling it a day, packing it in, and moving. And I will see you guys hopefully sooner than later. But you know how it is. I mean, I got to start up all the utilities. There's a lot going on with the move. So I don't know when I'll be back, but I will definitely be back. So once again, thanks for the support. Thanks for watching my videos. And thank you for your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.